The sun had not yet touched the city. Outside, the world was blue and cold. Inside their small apartment, the air was still. Elena stood in the kitchen, her fingers tight around a mug. She watched the clock, and the ticking sound felt heavy. In the bedroom, Julian was moving slowly. She heard the soft sound of his feet on the floor. She heard the rustle of his old, thin jacket. Soon he appeared in the doorway, looking very tired. He was 32, but his eyes looked much older today. He wore a faded shirt and very old shoes. Julian, tired and gentle, said, "Good morning, Elena," in a soft voice. He walked to her and kissed her forehead gently. His skin felt cool against her warm face. Elena didn't look up. She just stared at her coffee. Elena whispered to him, "You're leaving early again." Julian replied quietly, "The city is busy today." He worked as a courier, weaving through dangerous traffic. He breathed in exhaust fumes for 10 hours every day. He earned enough to eat, but never enough to fly. Elena worked in a very high glass tower. She was a senior analyst dealing with millions of dollars. She wore expensive suits and sat in leather chairs. She had worked through many nights to climb that ladder. She earned double the money that Julian earned. As Julian reached for his bag, Elena looked up. She saw the fraying threads on his old sleeve. She saw the way he moved his aching back. A seed of irritation began to grow. Inside her, she felt that her life should be much better. "Julian," she said, her voice cutting the silence, "don't you want more? Don't you want to be more?" Julian stopped and looked at his rough hands. "I want you to be happy, Elena," he said. "That is the only more I ever want." He smiled, but the smile was very sad. He walked out and locked the door behind him. The day at the office was very loud. Elena's co-workers talked about their new, expensive cars. Her friend, Sarah, flashed a very large diamond ring. "My husband is starting a new business," Sarah laughed. Elena felt a cold lump in her throat. She thought of Julian and his old bicycle. She thought of the small paycheck he brought home. Every month, Julian sent money to his sick sister. He took the burden of his family alone. But Julian's kindness now felt like a weakness. Elena didn't see a hero anymore in him. She saw a man standing still while others ran. The rain began to fall late in the afternoon. It was a gray and very miserable rain. Elena watched the tiny figures from her window. Somewhere down there, Julian was pedaling his bike. He was getting wet and he was very cold. For the first time, she felt angry at him. When Elena arrived home, she was perfectly dry. She had taken a premium taxi to her door. The apartment felt small and cramped today. An hour later, Julian finally walked inside. He was dripping water all over the floor. His hair was plastered to his pale forehead. His shoes made a squelching sound as he moved. He looked exhausted, and his hands were red. "It's really coming down out there," he laughed. Elena didn't laugh. She stood with crossed arms. "Why do you do this to us, Julian? You are a delivery man at 32 years old. Other husbands are building empires and taking vacations. I work so hard in a beautiful office. I come home to a husband smelling of rain." The silence that followed was sharp and cutting. Julian didn't shout back because he never did. He just stood there with water at his feet. His chest rose and fell very slowly now. "I am doing my best," Julian whispered. "I thought having each other was enough," he said. "It's not enough," Elena cried out very loudly. "Love doesn't pay for a good life, Julian. You have no ambition. You just drift along." Julian looked at her for a long time. There was no anger in his tired eyes. He looked like a man who was breaking. "I understand," he said in a quiet voice. He changed his clothes and left the house. He didn't say where he was going. 2 weeks passed and the house was different. Julian was rarely home to see his wife. He left before the sun rose every morning. He didn't return until Elena was fast asleep. He told her he found a second job. He was working at a warehouse at night. "Is this what you wanted?" he asked her once. Elena felt guilt, but she pushed it down. "I want us to have a future," she said. "Right," he whispered, "a future through work." Julian became a ghost in his own home. His face grew very thin and his eyes dark. He stopped making tea for her in mornings. He stopped telling her stories about his day. He was too tired to even speak anymore. Elena had what she wanted from him now. Their bank account began to grow very fast. She bought a new designer bag for herself. But when she came home, it felt heavy. The rooms felt colder than they were before. She hadn't heard him laugh in 20 days. She hadn't felt his warm hand in hers. She traded his soul for a bank number. It happened on a Tuesday in the rain. Elena's phone buzzed with an unknown number. "Is this Elena?" a woman's voice asked her. "Julian has been brought to the city hospital." Elena's heart skipped a beat in fear. "Was there an accident?" she asked the caller. "No, he just collapsed at the warehouse." The taxi ride felt like it took years. She thought about her words from before. She thought about Julian's trembling hands that morning. She found him behind a white hospital curtain. He looked small and very fragile in bed. There were tubes connected to his thin arm. "He is suffering from extreme exhaustion," the doctor said. "He hasn't been sleeping or eating at all. His body simply shut down from the work." Elena sat in a hard chair and cried. She took his rough and calloused hand. It was the hand of a broken man. She looked at the lines of deep stress. "I'm so sorry," she whispered into the air. "I'm so sorry for what I did." Julian's eyes fluttered open an hour later. He saw Elena with her red, crying eyes. "Elena?" His voice was just a ghost sound. "Stay still," she urged, her voice breaking apart. "Don't move. You are safe in hospital." Julian managed a very weak and tired smile. "Did I make enough for the future?" he asked. The question felt like a knife in her. He was working to prove he was worthy. He was killing himself for her high standards. "We don't need the money," Elena cried out. "I was so blind to your heart, Julian. I missed everything you were giving to me." Julian closed his eyes and shed one tear. "I just wanted you to be proud." "I am proud of you, Julian. I am proud of your kindness and heart. You are a man who is truly good. That is the real success in this life. That is more than enough for me." Julian stayed in the hospital for 3 days. Elena didn't go to her office at all. She sat by his side and they talked. She learned he loved the city after rain. He felt free on his old bicycle seat. He didn't want a business or an office. He wanted a simple life with his wife. They returned home to a very different house. It was no longer a small or cramped place. It was a sanctuary for their tired hearts. Julian stopped working the long night job. They went back to their old, quiet routine. Elena stopped looking at her friends' rings. She stopped comparing her life to other people. She finally understood what mattered the most. One evening, they sat on their small balcony. The sun was setting in a pink sky. Julian brought out 2 mugs of warm tea. They watched the world go by in peace. The silence was back, but it was light. It was the silence of 2 happy people. They knew that peace was the greatest wealth. Elena leaned her head on his tired shoulder. She listened to the steady beat of his heart. She knew she was the richest woman alive. The world outside was very loud and fast, but inside their home it was finally quiet. Love doesn't shout, it just stays with you. It never lets go, even in the rain. They were finally home, and they were happy. Thank you for watching this story of healing and true love. If you liked Maya's journey, please like and subscribe. Always believe that something good is coming for you. Never give up hope, even when the world looks dark. Goodbye, and see you in the next beautiful story.